Hello, and welcome to the channel. Today I'll be reviewing an album by MCHNGRL, which moved their sound into a new direction. Released in 2017, Because I'm Young Arrogant and Hate Everything You Stand For, marks MCHNGRL's change from an ethereal, gabber, footwork, and juke sound to keeping elements of those but incorporating sounds and ideas from hardcore punk and hardstyle techno, giving the name digital hardcore, a term first coined by German pioneers Atari Teenage Riot. More on them in another video. This is the first MCHNGRL album to incorporate Matt Steffensen, aka MCHNGRL's, original vocals, as opposed to the vocal samples of previous albums such as WLFGRL and Gemini. For the sake of my own sanity, I'll be calling this album Young Arrogant for short. Young Arrogant opens with the title track, starting with a steady build-up but then entering the audio hell that is MCHNGRL. The vocals throughout the track are screamed, ending with the proclamation, and pardon my French, so kiss my ass and eat my shit, go fuck yourself with your smelly ass dick. So prepare for war, because I'm young, arrogant, and everything you stand for. The next track is more spacey and ethereal, which is mostly like that during the chorus, juxtaposed heavily against Matt screaming, "Fuck, I'm your face!" The third track, in all caps, is Dumbass, with 3 exclamation points. The main rhythm samples an ice cream truck, and I still remember the experience when Matt played the song by accident, went through with it, and the crowd went nuts. A heavy 808 bass can be heard during the chorus. I've got no one to blame but my own dumbass. No such thing as the boogeyman. Matt here is saying that he realizes there is no scapegoat to his problems. The interlude track, 9 minutes and 43 seconds, is a short one. It starts off with looping ambience and white noise, with a robot voice that says, "The next global conflict lasts approximately 9 minutes and 43 seconds. There are over 5 billion casualties, but against all odds, you live, and yet you are still a little bitch." In those last 2 words, the track fades out. This further shows the sonic middle finger that is MCHNGRL. The next track is called Bullet Hell, named after the fast-paced video game genre. It opens up with what sounds like a console being turned on, and right away you get into the action, with a heavy bit crunch riff. However, the chorus turns into a more ethereal synth loop, and on the second chorus it turns into a long scream with extremely fast looping hi-hats coming at you 100 miles a minute. On top of that is a rather calm lead melody, reflecting MCHNGRL's earlier work. It ends with fast-paced gabber and more distorted screaming before the console ends up turning off. The next track is Vomit, featuring Bonnie Baxter. The hi-hats on this are fast and feature breakbeats in between the verses, showing clear 90s influence. With all that though, the chorus is simply the word vomit with an orchestral sounding synth chop. Vomit! Do-do-do. The next 2 tracks, Sad Claps and Athotha Go-Go, are both short but pack a punch. Sad Claps sounds like malfunctioning dial-up sounds, and then turn into a soundtrack to Seizure upon the line, "Here's your fucking sad claps."
Sad claps!
Athotha Go-Go, for some reason, is the most streamed MCHNGRL track, most likely because it isn't that intense. The gooey and flashing leads go into a soft whispered melody and snare drum with lines like, "In the void we can hold each other," followed by Matt whisper screaming, "Till our brains and our guts splatter over the fucking sidewalk." The riff also sounds like a synthesized punk towards the end, something MCHNGRL would build on in the subsequent album The Ugly Art. The last track on side A is Bitten Twice, with a dark, brooding bass line and in-your-face screaming. The music video accompanies the track with a bloodied Matt in a video game, which is fit perfectly towards the end where it sounds like cyberpunk, with lyrics like, "Instead I masturbate to ease the pain to make the whole will go away," and "Wonder when my life will change, when the world goes up in flames, things will go my way like every actor in LA, dreaming my life will be withered away," before a build-up of synth stabs and samples looking to a glitchy version of the riff while talking about biting the hand that feeds us. Don't be bitten twice indeed. Side B begins with Beta Beast, a high-octane instrumental sure to get your heart pumping and perfect for cyberpunk dancing. It is a signature line, "Be the beast you are inside," as the chorus. Surprisingly motivational for a MCHNGRL song. It builds up with synth stabs until it ends with a Babymobile-like melody. The next track is a chill house track called X Sleepy, or Sleepy, telling the listener to go to sleep in a robotic voice, which is kinda hard considering the pump up from the past few tracks, as well as the tracks to come. The next track has the title in Japanese. It reads as Uzumaki, which translates to spiral, which can describe the sonic nature of the track, going from aggressive gabber to a brutal bass line, samples, and a heavy hardcore juke sound towards the end. while referencing suicide. The two samples are from a Black Flag song and from Mario Kart, before leading into the happy hardcore section, an MC Ride-esque "Why me?" is screamed. Impressive considering this came out 1 year before Year of the Snitch. The next two tracks are long by MCHNGRL standards, clocking in at over 5 minutes for both. The first is MCHNGRL vs. WLFGRL, a reference to an earlier album, as well as part of the cover of this amalgamation, which starts off with a glistening synthwave but slowly turns into a tom, breakbeat, and glitch-heavy riff, eventually into a sample, which leads into what can only be described as a glitch in the matrix. Towards the middle of the track, the phrase, "I can feel it in my head," is accompanied by a fast-paced happy hardcore instrumental, which only sounds like schizophrenia. The final track, "It Takes a Nation of Millennials to Destroy a Nation of Millions." Wow, that was a mouthful. Is more 100 Gex style ethereal pop like instrumental, but with mostly rapped vocals. As the track progresses, the riff gets faster, turning into a bit-crushed outro with multiple parts. The themes MCHNGRL takes are similar to that of its predecessors, politically and socially charged with enough profanity and fuck you nature to make it scare off anyone who can't handle it. If I was as much of a fan of this album as I was when I put out my Best of the Decade video, it would have been on it for 2017. I remain a big fan of MCHNGRL, as evidenced by this shirt and the record behind me, and their latest release, You Void Synthesizer, is one of my favorite albums this year. But Young Arrogant stands out to me because it marks changes in the MCHNGRL discography, and remains hard-hitting, listen after listen after listen.